So yes, so this is an opportunity for students to ask questions of me about the School of Business. I see we have a few of our professors on. Professor Harazi from MBA 521, Managerial Accounting. Thank you for joining. We've also got Professor Kamal Four, who is teaching the new MBA 512 class on project management. So thank you for also joining. I think, as we say, the more brains in the game that we have, the better solutions we'll come up with. So again, this is a very informal sort of ask the dean questions. So I know we'll be getting more students as we go throughout the next 45 minutes, if you can stay that long. But to the students who are already here, are there any questions that you would like to ask me about the School of Business, our classes, internships? Are there any questions that we could answer for you right now at the start of this presentation? All right,
Yes.
so we don't, yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, Professor Mark, I have a question.
Sure.
It's regarding next semester because I have two courses left from the syllabus of the MBA Project Management. There's
Okay.
capstone, and it's available every semester, right, to enroll in?
Yes, that's right. Capstone is available every semester.
Okay, and if someone, for example, wants to take one semester off, like it's not off, I want to take, for example, CPT, but without any courses to enroll in, is that an option?
That's a very good question. So if you're at the end of so let's say that right now we are in the winter term. And so are you saying that in the spring term, which starts in April, you will only have one or two classes left? Is that correct?
Yes, yes, Professor.
Okay. Uh, so I think the rule is that you're allowed to take one vacation per every 3 quarters. So the rule is that you have to your grades, your cumulative GPA has to be 3.0 or higher. And you can certainly prove, and the school can find out that you have completed, 3 quarters successfully. So you should be eligible for a vacation. And again, the vacation, it's not a whole year, it's only 1 quarter. So you can take 1 quarter off from your studies. What I would do is I would email the admissions. I think their email is admissions@wust.edu.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Hello, sir. Good morning. Myself,
Good morning.
Anubhav, and I'm from India. So I want to know about sports as like I am a professional Indian cricket player, and I am here to study my bachelor's in the information technology. I get to know about some information like is there any sports events also in the university?
Yes, there are a lot of school events. We do have, I think, one or two school basketball teams. We have, I think, one or two school soccer teams, and there are various social clubs that you can join. If I'm not mistaken, that you can find them on the website, or if you do have a specific question about the clubs and the social activities, I would email Jose. It's Jose dot Ortega, Ortega, at wust.edu. He's our director of marketing, and he's in charge of those sports clubs and all of the other social events that go on. We do celebrate all kinds of holidays and special events from around the world. So I'm sure that there is a sport and or a social club for you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the information. It will really help me.
Good. I think it is helpful to join in these social clubs so that we can maintain some sense of humanity. You know, we can get together and share experiences. And, you know, if you're facing challenges at school, you're facing challenges being away from home, no doubt there are other students that have been through the same thing. And I'm sure they and us would be willing to help you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, before we end, I will come back to the screen and we'll see if there's any other questions that come up. But what I want to do now is that I'd like to go to the screen here. I believe you can see it. It's called, now this is an article from the social media channel LinkedIn. And between LinkedIn and Indeed.com, there are a ton of jobs right here in the Washington, D.C. area and even around the country. So I thought it would be interesting to take a look at this article and to see what kinds of jobs in the United States that are growing in demand. And surprisingly, a lot of these jobs appear to be in business and specifically in marketing and some revenue generating functions within a company. So this is a list, as I say, from LinkedIn. This only applies to the U.S. job market. But I want to kind of quickly go through these list of 25 jobs. And there's some really good information in this article from LinkedIn about these roles. So you can certainly find this article if you search on Google and you type in this title. Maybe you can find it also on LinkedIn. But let's take a look at some of these jobs. And it says here, reveals the top 25 fastest growing job titles over the past 5 years and the trends in the marketplace. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these job titles, and perhaps these titles of jobs may generate some questions on your part. All right, so let's take a look at this first job. Right, number one, head of revenue operations. So this is it could also be called a chief revenue officer or head of revenue management. Now, some of the jobs on this list require 2 to 4 years of experience. Others have 5 to 6 years of experience that you need to have before you can take on a role like this. But let's take a look at this job. Head of revenue operations. Right, so this job, you're working with the sales department, you're working with marketing teams, and the job is about supporting the business goals and revenue growth, right? Now, so some of the skills that you need in this job are sales operations, CRM, data analysis. You can take a look here on this list. These kind of jobs are being found in San Francisco, New York, LA. And one of the nice things is that many of these jobs do list the salary of these jobs. This may not be what you could possibly earn in the job, but it gives you a sense of what kind of job you can consider getting. So number one, head of revenue operations, and I know Professor Harazi can speak to that probably Professor Harazi, anything you want to share about this particular job?
Okay, but I just have a question. We could not see the job on the screen. Is it in screen? We could not see it.
You cannot see it.
No, sir.
All right. Okay, let me try it again. Hold on. Let's try the software. All right, so here is, I'm back to looking at all the names on the list.
Yeah.
And let's see, I am sharing my screen. And let's see, maybe, let's see, is Vadim, are you still there?
I'm here, sir. Actually, you have full screen right now. So, Professor, if you don't see the screen, you have a like zoom to the right from your screen. You have a zoom. You can zoom in, zoom out. And also, I would suggest you can, move the line of participation people. Just move it by hand to up, and when you will screen will be black.
So should I maximize the screen?
No, you're good, Professor. And so it's for people who don't see right now. You can manage your screen if you move like line with people up. Your like screen, share screen will be bigger. Try to do it.
Maybe you can come over and show me real quick.
No, Dr. Robinson, you're good.
I'm good now?
Yeah,
Yes.
full screen. Yeah, you did everything right.
Okay, so it's also small for me. What if I double click on it? All right, how about now? Is that
You can zoom in the screen to the
okay?
right.
So Professor Harazi, can you see the screen? Is it better or not?
Yeah. Now I can see the first position, head of revenue operation. Now I can see it here, but the screen is still
Okay.
in the middle, but I can read it. So,
Okay.
so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. So I'd like to make it clear for everyone, if you'd like to join any job in the States, job, it will be a government job or non-for-profit organization, all for-profit organization. For all for-profit organization looking for a profit or looking for a revenue. So it's a big chance when you apply, when you look to the private sector, that's the main point you need it in your CV to allow you or to be eligible, you can get hired. You need to know more in details how to generate revenue, how to contact customer, how to contact clients, because here is a point. The more revenue, the more profit, the more the company to be stable, and you can get more bonus. So that's the main point about revenue operation for for-profit organization.
All right. So human resources has been around for many years. However, there are some new words and new concepts that the industry is starting to use. One of them is this people analytics manager. That's a very similar job. And HR, a lot of companies now are changing the words HR to people operations. So it's no longer about, I mean, let's face it, HR is still important, but some of the newer job titles out there are people operations, people analytics, or talent, right? Talent is another word for people. Human capital is another name for HR and people. But here's this is an interesting job because this shows you that you're collecting data, you're analyzing it, and you're reporting to the leadership team about employee performance. How many people did we lose during the pandemic? Do we have a diverse and inclusive workplace? Right? Now, some of the skills it has here are people analytics. You need to use some data visualization tools like Tableau. We're going to be starting some Tableau classes here in the School of Business in the next year or so. And I'm not an expert in IT, but there's also a programming language called R, which would be helpful. But you can get a lot of free training through Coursera or some other tools that are free. But however, look at the salary range for human resources analytics, 41,000 to 120,000. Again, look where these jobs are being offered. New York City, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Baltimore. So, think about the kinds of roles that you like to play. Maybe you like to play work in human resources. This may be an interesting career field for you. It says there's also a 23% chance of remote job availability. So that's another big development is, the hybrid work environment. All right, number 3, diversity and inclusion manager. Just from my own personal experience, and perhaps Professor Kamal, if you're still there, you can back me up. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is one of the biggest and most important new kinds of jobs that are being offered because U.S. companies want to have a diverse workforce and where we include everybody, not just people that we like, but people that can do the job, people that bring new skills to the organization. Professor Kamal, are you there? Okay, no worries. Maybe you had to step away from the screen for a minute. But again, these kinds of jobs are becoming popular in New York City, Washington, D.C., Boston, right? Median years of prior experience, 3 to 5 years. So again, this is a very important type of job, and we will be revising our HR MBA program probably within the next year to include more classes about diversity. All right, I don't think anybody at this school who's earning a bachelor's or an MBA wants to be a truck driver. So we're going to skip over that job because I don't think it would be very popular with students. Okay, number 5 is this employee experience manager. So employee experience is a role that in many cases supports the HR department. So this is a job that looks at employee engagement. And when we say engagement, we mean, do people enjoy coming to work? Do they like their boss? Do they like their team that they work with? So this is a common job where we are making sure that employees want to work for us and to grow with the company. Employee experience manager, right? And so any big city, not just New York City, San Francisco, LA, Washington, D.C. There's other big cities in the U.S., right? Dallas, Chicago, Phoenix, Seattle, etc. So again, employee experience manager is another popular job. All right, number 6 is sales
Sir, excuse
enablement.
me, sir. I
Yeah, go
want to
ahead.
know a little bit about a truck driving. I don't know much about.
You want to know about truck driving?
Yeah.
Okay, well, truck drivers, that's all they do. They drive, and maybe you've seen them on the roads, right? What we call 18-wheelers, the trucks that have a cab and the long back, which has the remainder of all the wheels. There are truck driving schools that you can go to. You are constantly driving. You spend your entire day driving trucks. But it could be forklifts that you see in many big stores like Home Depot or Walmart, where someone has to move big boxes of products from place to place, right? It's again, there are jobs that or schools that will teach you how to drive. They're called vocational schools. But maybe people, I'm sure there's people that enjoy sitting behind the wheel, and you get to see different parts of the U.S. or wherever you may be working. But it is a job nonetheless. All right. We did the employee
Thank you, sir,
experience.
for the information.
Sure. Okay. Number 6, sales enablement specialist. Right. This is a job. It's also it's involved in the sales work, right? Which is different than what we teach here in marketing, but it's a sales job. You may also see the name of the job as business development. That's another very common job in the U.S. Developing business, right? Holding Zoom presentations to demonstrate products, answering questions. If you and you can certainly, we do use Salesforce in my marketing class, but you can get separate certifications in Salesforce if you're involved in a role as sales, right? But again, any big city, not just as it says here, Seattle, San Francisco, Boston, any big city needs sales people, business development people. And as you see, right, half of the jobs are remote. Remote job availability is about 48%. So if you like talking to people and you like working with people, you have an outgoing personality, then sales enablement may be, a position that you may want to seek as an intern or in your CPT. Okay. Number 7, advanced practice provider. This is more in the medical field, right? And the school does have an MBA in healthcare. This job may also be known as a nurse practitioner, physician assistant. Again, this is a healthcare job, and we do have an MBA in healthcare offered here at the school. But again, here, there's different parts of a practice provider, right? It says the most common skills are, looking at electronic digital medical records, healthcare management. There's jobs where, you can ride in an ambulance and, save people from illnesses, right? So, healthcare is still a big industry in the United States. We are also in the process of creating a master's in public health program here at the school. That may take us another year or so to get that rolling. But if healthcare is your passion, you may want to investigate the MBA in healthcare. All right, here's another job in what we call growth marketing manager, right? So some of the other jobs that you may find that are similar, right? If you know a lot about digital marketing or product marketing, right? This is a job where you are helping to grow the business. Again, either through marketing, running marketing campaigns, improving customers. It's called customer acquisition, where that's attracting and retention is about keeping your employees, right? Or in the marketing area, it's about keeping your customers, right? So great salary range potential, 60,000 to 132,000. Certainly, that would be a job if you were involved and enjoy marketing. Okay, so growth marketing manager. Okay. All right, number 9, sort of very focused in some ways to IT, but it's called a data governance manager, right? And so this is about companies need help in storing digital data, how to give internal company employees access to data, right? There's a lot of attention given to storing customer data, right? Your social media profile on Instagram or Facebook. Somebody has to make sure that information is safe and cannot be hacked into. Okay, so again, any big city where you may be living near would most likely need a person to be a data governance manager, right? Again, if you had a role or are in a role of a data analyst or business analyst, right? You could look into moving to this data governance manager position. All right, number 10, grants management specialist. So grants management are all about nonprofits. Again, these are a lot of volunteer organizations that they don't earn money, but what they try to do is they try to gain funding from governments and donations from everyday people like you and me, right? Again, Washington, D.C. is a big area, a big region for nonprofits. I think there's something like 5,000 nonprofit organizations here in the Washington, D.C. area. You need just a small number of years of experience, 3 jobs. Again, grants are mostly used in nonprofit organizations. So if you like giving back to the community, that may be a job that you may be interested in pursuing. Okay? All right, number 11. I don't think we have many of these types of jobs here in the Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. region is a very government, politics, and business area. There are some healthcare jobs here, but in terms of a molecular technologist, right now we don't have we're seeking to add a Master's of Public Health program to the school, but that is probably a year away from being operational. All right, number 12, content. A content designer. Again, this is a marketing kind of job where when we say content, we're talking about blogs. If you go to Facebook or LinkedIn or other social media channels, the information presented is called content, right? And somebody has to design that content, that information. And so you may find this term, user experience, right? It's also abbreviated as UX, user experience, which means how easy is it for the customer to navigate around your website. That's what content design. You're not only providing the information to a customer, but you're also helping to design the look of the web page or the social media platform. Okay. Again, all the big cities around the U.S. are looking for content designers. Okay. All right. This is a rather new job in the past 5 years or so called sustainability analyst. And a sustainability analyst is involved in the environment, right? This is a job that probably has a STEM application to it. And when I say STEM, right, science, technology, engineering, and math. As a sustainability analyst, you are helping a company, a for-profit company, track their strategy and how well they are limiting the greenhouse gas emissions. So there's a huge market here in the area. We have lots of consulting firms like Deloitte, a firm that I used to work for, PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, McKinsey, all of these big consulting firms employ sustainability analysts. And again, any big city in the U.S. Needs help, and the companies in those cities are the ones that need help. As you see, right, you can transition from a role as a project manager or an energy analyst to become a sustainability analyst. That is a very hot job right now, and you see the projected salary range, right?
Yeah, I was about to say as well, this is definitely a hot job, and you're going to see more and more demand for this job across. So, anything that you know about sustainability is only going to be an added value in your toolkit moving forward. So, thanks.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Professor Kamal. And one of the things that I'm personally working on here for the school is to create a STEM MBA program. And the STEM MBA program would allow students to earn a 2-year CPT with a 1-year extension. Right now, our MBA program only allows a 1-year CPT. So what we want to do is we want to create this STEM MBA so that gives our students longer work experience here in the United States. And if your goal is to work in the United States and then to go back to your home country, then a job like this would be very advantageous, whether you come from Bangladesh or Pakistan, Brazil, Vietnam, China, wherever you may be from. This is going to be an interesting job over the next probably 10 years at least. And as we kind of create, probably we're a year away of creating our STEM MBA program. So we will be sending out more information about that. Okay, strategy and operations manager. So what do these people do? Well, as it says, right, they identify opportunities to increase not only the efficiency, but the effectiveness of an operation, right? So an interesting thing in strategy, right? Right now we have, what is it, the iPhone 14 Pro. I'm sure Apple will come out with an iPhone 15 sometime this year. And you know that Apple will likely revise some of the features of the phone to help them sell more iPhones. That's a strategy. If you are good at operations, making sure that people have information to inform the decision makers on the leadership team. Again, a project manager role, program management, perhaps team leadership, perhaps, as it says, their business process improvement. Again, those are all jobs that require common skills. But again, strategy and operations are very key because, for example, as more products look the same, like a laptop, right? The strategy would be to create a laptop that functionality could not be copied by another competing company. That's a strategy. Making sure the company runs smoothly. That's an operations manager. And again, any big city needs, and companies there need strategy and operations people. Okay. Now, this Chief People Officer is a new job title within the past 5 years. It used to be, called the Chief Human Resources Officer or Head of HR Operations. And this is probably a job where if you want to progress in a company and you enjoy HR kind of work, your best bet is probably to seek out a smaller company to work with. Once you get into the large companies like Walmart or Amazon or Starbucks, you name it, the Chief People Officer is most likely someone that has been at that job for maybe 10 to 15 years. So this is likely a job that you won't be able to earn as soon as you graduate. But as you continue to work and grow your skills, perhaps you may someday find yourself as a Chief People Officer. Now, I love the salary range, $75,000 to $300,000 a year. Boy, if I had that experience, I don't know, that's a lot of money to earn in a year. But again, the word chief or head of some kind of operations typically implies at least 10 or 15 years of experience. In some cases, in the bigger companies, you may have better luck in smaller companies. All right, number 16, sales development representative, right? So this is about helping to generate new business for companies. It's another word is called outbound sales, right? Making phone calls, doing product demos with potential clients, right? And I will tell you that this kind of job, when you're meeting with people, it's mostly involved in persuading or influencing them to buy your product, right? So you may work in a company where they give you a list of 100 names of people and their phone numbers or email addresses, and you send out those emails, you make those phone calls. If you are very successful in this and you love people, you can make a lot of money in sales. Sales jobs typically give you a somewhat small salary, up let's say $60,000 a year, but they would also give you extra money for selling, for closing sales. Like, the people that work at a car dealership, they get a very small salary, but they get a piece of the money anytime someone buys a new car, right? So you may also see account representative, account executive, sales specialist, but again, companies need help in actually meeting with and persuading customers to buy their products. Okay? All right, number 17, online campaign manager. This, again, goes back to marketing, right? And some of the common skills, being a digital marketer, being certified in Google Analytics, social media marketing. So as we learn in my MBA 519 class, a campaign is a length of time that a company is going to run a marketing campaign. So marketing campaign has a beginning, middle, and end. Usually lasts 3 months, maybe 6 months, right? If you like marketing and you like creating a strategy for how to reach your goals in a company, you might look into this kind of job, online campaign manager. Okay. Could someone mute themselves real quick? I hear some sounds in the background. I hear a beeping. Maybe someone's at the grocery store buying themselves lunch. I don't know. All right. Product operations, right? So this goes back to operations management, making sure that teams and employees in a company can use an efficient team effectively so that they are moving products from the manufacturer to a store to the consumer, right? Again, any big company, any size company, grocery stores, anything where you go to buy physical products, the Amazon warehouse, for example, Walmart, Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, those kind of product operations manager jobs can be very profitable. Okay. Sales compensation manager. Again, this goes back to sales, and really what you're doing is in a sales compensation role is to helping human resources, the salespeople, devise what we call a sales commission or incentive program. So sales commission, if you remember back to the previous job, you get maybe a $60,000 base pay, but if you sell something or a number of products then you get a sales commission, usually 10 to 15% on that item. So these are called sales commissions or incentive programs, right? And so sales compensation managers, this will usually work with human resources in trying to figure out these kinds of compensation or salary plans. Okay, here we go. Another marketing one, customer marketing manager, right? Again, you're managing people at a marketing program or campaign, or you're sponsoring an event. In a few weeks' time, we have the U.S. version of football, NFL. We'll have the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is a big event in the United States and around the world. I think I read in the news media the other day that it's going to cost companies $7 million to run a 30-second marketing ad during the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that's a huge job. And again, marketing manager is all about engaging customers. Once they sign up as a customer, you want to keep them as a customer, right? So again, the salary range is quite high. And, you know, perhaps, again, smaller companies will require you to have less experience than this 6 years. But again, marketing and sales still very important. And I like this title, head of rewards, right? This is total. Another job could be called a total rewards manager or head of regulatory compensation. But what does this mean? This means that you are going to help to recognize employees in your company who have done a good job. And some of the benefits, right? Maybe you reward extra health insurance, or it's really about recognizing good work. For example, I just received a certificate today, a certificate of appreciation here at school for recruiting 5 students for the winter term, right? That's a form of reward, right? You don't get any money, but you get a nicely embroidered plaque that you can put on your desk or your wall. But again, a rewards program is all about working, again, with HR in human resources. Okay, 2022, a deal manager. What do we mean by deals? Well, you know, in terms of when one company buys another, it's called a merger, right? Let's say if this would never happen because the U.S. would never allow it. Let's say that Apple ended up buying Samsung just for their smartphones, right? A deal manager is involved in negotiating these kinds of partnerships. And it could be through their suppliers, their clients, etc. So a deal manager is all about bringing 2 companies together to form one big company. And again, companies in major cities, not just San Francisco or New York or Chicago, you know, any place you have big companies, there's likely to be mergers and acquisitions where they need a deal manager. Okay? All right, we're getting towards the end here. Customer Success Associate. This is all about making sure that the customer satisfaction level is high, right? You buy a new car, and perhaps after 2 weeks, you call that new car owner and say, hey, how is your car running? We're very happy that you decided to buy your car with us, right? So again, this is involved with marketing and sales, okay? Number 24, channel account executive. Again, this goes back to selling, sales, business development, etc. Right? Perhaps you've been, as it says here, a business development manager, right? Again, you're working with clients, you're convincing them, persuading them to buy the company's products. And lastly, I don't think we have any of these jobs probably here in the Washington area, but this is something called bioinformatics. Again, this is involved in the healthcare field. But in biology, you're using software tools to in research to identify, new strains of the COVID virus. Again, the salary range is quite high because it's in the medical field, and I would venture to say that perhaps even having a PhD in biology or health sciences would be of interest. Okay, so there, kind of a quick introduction to the top 25 jobs here for 2023. All right, let me see if I can get back to my screen. See how many folks are still with us. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? Maybe watching these list of jobs has, tweaked your interest a little bit about the job market. Anybody have any questions they'd like to ask?
Yes, Professor, thank you so much for having wonderful conversation and wonderful session. My question is about CPT. So we already
Okay.
did one session on CPT, and we know that the CPT process as well. So when the school will announce the CPT again?
So so the admissions department sort of processes the paperwork for CPT to help you get started. Every quarter there might be one or two CPT meetings that they run through the entire process for you. So what this means is that you start looking on LinkedIn or Indeed. You look in let's say Indeed, and you type in the word internship or intern, and the student is really required to find their position. But we do have a career services department that can help you. The admissions department kind of starts the paperwork, and then our VP of Education, Dr. Karim, he's the one that actually manages the students who get their CPT. And so, as I say again, every 10 weeks we have one or two CPT workshops led by the Office of Admissions to help you through that process. But we can help you find jobs. Career Services can help you find jobs. You can also help yourself to find jobs. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I got you.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you for the great session.
Okay, thank you very much. If there's no other questions,
Yes,
I want to
Dr.
say to Professor Harazi and Professor Four for joining me today, helping to answer some of these questions of our students. I know Amit, Mr. Gupta does assist the Career Services group from time to time. So again, reach out to your advisor, which ends up being me for the School of Business, but reach out to me if with any questions. Be on the lookout for an email from the Office of Admissions about the CPT workshops, because they are really informative and they'll help you get on the right path.
Dr. Robinson, can I add one point?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, so I love to add one point based on my experience, just an advice. If any students find a good job matching with him or with her, please prepare yourself or train yourself how you can pass the interview. Okay, sometimes the job is matching with your qualification, but still you need to pass the interview. So you need to take like a workshop or training how to be well prepared for an interview. And I'm happy to answer any question if any student has a question regarding interviews. Thank you, sir.
That's a great point, Professor. Thank you for bringing that up. Merely identifying the job is really the first step, right? The other parts of that puzzle, the job puzzle, is to have a very well written, visually appealing resume. And we do run resume workshops. And then, as Professor Harazi alluded to, right, being able to present yourself as someone who knows what they're talking about. In my MBA 523 strategy class, the final project is a Zoom presentation, and we often find that our students are not prepared. They have the degree, they have a nice looking resume, but that third piece of the puzzle is being able to communicate the value that you bring to the job or will bring to the job. So I'm sure the Career Services will be adding more workshops about not only resumes, but how to do well on a Zoom presentation. Great. Thanks, Professor Harazi, for bringing that up. Okay, any last minute questions before we close out?
Yes, I have a question, Dr. Mark.
Yes.
So what are the skills or maybe certifications we can earn in addition to our degree to help us find jobs easily?
Okay. Well, I tell you, we're right now exploring some what we call mini credentials. We do have some certificate programs here, mostly in project management, at least in the School of Business. And you can also, they're very inexpensive. You can also sign up through LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a company called LinkedIn Learning, where you can take certification courses in leadership, management, dealing with crises, all kinds of topics, right? And so LinkedIn certificates are really valuable that you can put on your LinkedIn profile if you have one. If you have a LinkedIn profile, please connect with me, and I will make you part of my network. But yeah, so we do have some certifications right now. I've seen a lot of things on Google where they're partnering with Coursera to offer certificates. If you're a marketing person, there's digital marketing certificates. If you like working with Google, there's Google Analytics certifications that support marketers. So we're going to be adding more certifications over this next year, the next couple of years probably, because many people don't want to go back to school to earn a degree. They're already in a job and they want to be able to keep their skills up to date and current. That's the best way to stay relevant in your industry, no matter what it is to take some of these certification courses and then proudly display your certificate on your LinkedIn profile. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you can go on LinkedIn and create a LinkedIn profile for free or connect with me. But yes, we do have some, but we're going to be adding some other ones over the next year. The other idea that comes to mind is what I would like to do is to, in my MBA 519 marketing strategies class, I would really like to have students earn a certificate from the American Marketing Association also. So you would get, you would pass the MBA 519 class. In addition, you would also earn a certificate from the American Marketing Association, which is known worldwide. So every country, everybody in the world knows about the American Marketing Association. Project management has its own, right? Project Management Institute has a PMP. I know Professor Kamal teaches. The PMP is another great certificate to have. But yes, we're adding additional certificates for the School of Business over the next year.
Okay, thank you, doctor. I have another
Okay,
question.
sure.
So, is it easy to find a job after graduation, even if I don't have a previous experience?
So I would say yes. I would say that our WUST as a school, our placement rate is about 85%, which is extremely high, extremely high. So we do have a sister organization, People in Tech, that also, there's internships there that are available. Um, but just think in this area, just think of Washington D.C. We had a lot of great talent from around the world. It can be challenging sometimes to find a job, but companies today are looking for younger employees, and they are looking for employees like you who are international in their living, their consumer habits, because a lot of Americans don't know a lot about the markets in Pakistan or Sri Lanka or someplace like that. So again, companies are looking for young people, in their early to mid 20s, and they're looking for people that have international experience. And of course, you all can also speak another language other than English, right? For me, I'm stuck at English. But you can speak English and write and present in English, and you also know your home country language, which is a huge benefit for a U.S. company.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. All right, everybody.
All
Thank
right,
you for
everybody.
joining.
Thank you for joining. Hello, Professor.
Yes,
Yes. I have a question.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Uh, Actually, I am doing now interning beside my study. It is possible. I am now third semester, but I am struggling to get a internship like CPT. I cannot find till now.
So what have you tried
So
looking?
what have you tried looking?
Yeah, have
Actually,
you tried
I
looking?
have a have you tried looking? I have experienced different sector, electrical design, but right now I am doing IT.
Okay, so you're looking for an
Okay, so you're
IT.
looking for an IT. Yes,
Okay, what I would
I have
do.
I have experience of 10 years electrical design in my country.
Okay, so what I would do is
Okay,
I would
so what I would do
contact
is I would contact
Dr. Moody.
Dr. Moody.
Dr. Moody is the
Dr.
assistant
Moody
director
is the assistant
of
director
IT,
of IT,
and he can
and
help you
he
work
can help you
on a job.
work on a job. Okay.
Okay, everybody, thank you for
Okay, everybody.
joining.
Thank you for
Have a
joining.
time.
At the time,
Uh,
uh,
continue to be successful.
continue to
Thank
be
you again for
successful.
joining.
Thank you again for joining.